It's been far too long since we've had an opportunity to talk boxing. I'm talking about big-time boxing right here in the fight capital of the world, Nevada, Las Vegas. Now, looking back at 2017, the fight that sticks out in my mind has to be the McGregor-Mayweather fight, simply because of how enormous it was. However, our review journal boxing writer, Gilberto Manzano, who's here, what is the fight that sticks out in your mind as the fight of the year in 2017?
Oh, it's got to be the heavyweight battle between Anthony Joshua and Vladimir Klitschko. In England, I think there was 2 belts on the line. Both guys hit the canvas. A knockout. Anthony Joshua became a star. It had a little bit of everything for me.
All right, the big boys. You got to like the big boys. Got to like the big boys. All right, so we're talking about fights, which that was a great fight. We'll get rid of 2017. Let's talk about 2018 and some of the fights that are dream matchups that you would like to see, I would like to see, the whole entire boxing world would like to see. You ready to do that?
Yeah, I'm ready. We got 10, right?
Yeah, we got 10 of them. All right, let's go ahead and look at the list, and this is the first one. I will let you pronounce the first one on this list.
All right, he's a super flyweight, so I got to give love to the little guys.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with Nyawa Inoue from Japan and Sirasake Soronvisa from Thailand.
Bless you.
Sorry. But Soronvisa is a WBC super flyweight champion, so if he gets a win in February against Gallo Estrada, he could probably fight Inoue, who's considered one of the best, pound for pound fighters from Japan. He's a little Lomachenko from what I've been hearing, so if I see that fight, I'll be thrilled.
Okay, a little Lomachenko, a double L. All right, Mikey Garcia is the next one at number 9 against Jorge Linares. Mikey Garcia, obviously, he had a great 2017. He could have been fighter of the year almost.
Definitely. He beat Adrian Broner, and he had a knockout of the year in January at the MGM Grand that I really enjoyed. But this fight's between the best lightweights at 135. Between Jorge Linares hasn't lost in, who knows, 2 or 3 years already.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So for him to go up against Mikey Garcia, it will give him a chance to prove who's the best lightweight. And I'll have to give the edge to Mikey, but overall, these 2 guys are very skilled, and I will really be thrilled with this fight.
Okay, now the next one is a dream matchup that we've been dreaming about forever, it seems like. I don't think it's ever going to happen. It would be nice if it does happen. Terrence Crawford, Manny Pacquiao, they're both on top rank, but we know Bob Arum wants to go ahead and keep Manny Pacquiao for as long as he can keep him without him getting beat up.
Yeah, it's the cash cow, but this fight was supposed to be made a year ago. And to remember, Jeff Horn beat Manny Pacquiao and kind of ruined those plans. So we'll see. Maybe we'll get the fight finally in 2018. And I think it'll be a great fight for Crawford to kind of build a name for himself, beat a Manny Pacquiao. And for Pacquiao, pass the torch already. You're a senator.
Exactly.
Move on. But it'll be a great fight. I know maybe Pacquiao's a little washed up, but I still would love to watch this fight for Crawford to have a more a bigger profile after that, if he wins that fight.
Canelo Alvarez and Daniel Jacobs, I would love to see that matchup. That'd be a great fight. Is any possibility that would even going down?
There's actually a shot if somehow negotiations between Golovkin and Canelo fall apart. So if you're Canelo, who are you going to fight on Cinco de Mayo? That's his date, usually in Las Vegas. And Daniel Jacobs is part of HBO now. So Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo, also HBO. So it's a possibility. And I think Daniel Jacobs is probably a top 3 middleweight. So for Canelo to be tested against Jacobs before maybe going against Golovkin again in September, Canelo was a little shaky. But if you fight Jacobs and you beat him, he'll be more than ready for Triple G for a second time around.
And I can see them kind of stretching out that rematch with Triple G and trying to push that further and further back. More cash cow business. You don't want to get beat back. Even though I thought he looked good in that fight, I'm okay with the draw. I remember you were not necessarily okay with the draw.
I was okay with it too.
Okay.
I think Canelo has his moments, but if they hold that rematch, I'll be okay with that too. Either Canelo fights Jacobs, and this next fight we have coming up.
Go
number
ahead.
6, right?
Yeah, number 6. Go ahead.
Gennady Triple G Golovkin has Billy Joe Saunders. So again, this could be another, just in case Canelo's fight doesn't happen. Billy Joe Saunders has the last middleweight belt that Triple G does not have. So Triple G has 3. Billy Joe is the last one. And for Triple G, has kind of been his dream to unify the entire middleweight division. So why not? And Billy Joe Saunders just had a big fight.
He looked good.
Because David Lemieux. And people haven't really got to see Billy Joe. For him to fight on HBO and pick apart David Lemieux, who got knocked out by Triple G, I think it would be a good challenge for Triple G. And it's a fight worth watching, just in case Canelo and Triple G don't fight in May.
I like that little insurance policy.
Exactly.
The next fight, a fighter that I really, really like. I don't remember the last time he fought. Keith Thurman. I love Keith Thurman.
Yeah.
He's great to listen to, great to watch fight. He hasn't fought in forever. Obviously, he had the injury, but Terrence Crawford. Interesting that a lot of these dream fights have Terrence Crawford in there.
Yeah, because he's probably the best skilled fighter in the sport. Yeah. And now Crawford is moving up to welterweight.
Yes.
He dominated 140. He unified the entire division. No champion has done this since maybe Bernard Hopkins in 2004. So for Crawford, he accomplished everything he could at 140. Now it's time to fight the big boys. And Keith Thurman, he's probably the best at 147 right now. But you mentioned it, he's been, you know, out of the fight game for what, 11 months now. He had a shoulder surgery, but he did beat Sean Porter. He beat Danny Garcia. So Keith Thurman is proven. We just haven't seen him in a while. So I think it will be a good matchup between offense, which is Thurman, and defense is Terrence Crawford.
Speaking of a guy who we haven't seen in forever, Danny Garcia. I like Danny Garcia. He doesn't fight enough. It drives me crazy. He hasn't fought anybody in forever. And he's a good fighter. But we'll go ahead and move on to the next one. Canelo Alvarez, Gennady Golovkin, too. You kind of mentioned that already. There's not a whole lot to say about it, but go ahead.
This is the fight everybody wanted to see, 2015, 2016, 2017, and we finally got it in 2017, and it was a draw. So we got to do that fight again. I don't know what Oscar De La Hoya is thinking. Maybe he wants to hold it, like we were mentioning. But it sounds like they're going to get it done in Cinco de Mayo at T-Mobile Arena.
Oh, wow.
So for that to happen, run it back, that'll be great for us. And fight fans, I'm sure we will to see that. And maybe we'll get an actual winner this time. No Adelaide Bird, 118, 110.
Oh, yeah, okay. And we both love the Bird family. Adelaide and Robert's one of my guys. So, again, Keith Thurman, we'll bring his name back up. Errol Spence, I'm shocked that obviously he's this high, which makes sense. Yeah. But it's the only one that we have with Errol Spence on there. And I love watching him fight.
I think he's probably the best welterweight.
From
Keith Thurman
I agree.
And well, I guess Crawford's not really a welterweight yet, but I think, skill-wise, the whole package, I'm a big fan of Errol Spence. I think
body snatcher.
He goes after the body, and which he did to Kell Brook in England, and then he has the defense to go with it and the power. I think he's a whole package. He's just a little young. He doesn't have the experience that Keith Thurman does. We mentioned he beat Danny Garcia and Sean Porter.
He doesn't have the big fights.
But as the eye test, he passes, and I think for him to take those belts from Keith Thurman, who has 2 belts at welterweight, I think for him it would be like a coming out party.
I agree. This is a fight that I would love to see here in Las Vegas. Mikey Garcia, the fact that he's an LA-based or a Southern California-based fighter, and Lomachenko, he likes to fight in New York or whatever. He's got the Russian crowd back there. That'd be that's a dream matchup.
Yeah.
And they've been talking about that for a while too. I think both these guys want to fight each other.
Yeah, Lomachenko, who is our fighter of the year at the Review Journal, he's made the last 4 opponents retire or quit and say no mas.
Yes.
But so for Lomachenko, it seems like he needs a challenge. It seems like at 130, there's nobody there. But you go up to face Mikey Garcia at 135, and I think Mikey is probably the best lightweight in the world. We mentioned Jorge Linares, but for Mikey, 135 is his division. So for the great ones, they move up in weight.
Yes.
So for Lomachenko to take, he seems like a guy who wants a challenge. So I would love to see that fight. Probably the 2 best skilled fighters in the sport going at it.
And lastly, I think this is a great one for number 1. Number 2 could have been number 1. Number 3 could have been number 1. But this is going to be a very good one. If it happens, Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. Whew.
Yeah, it seems like this is the fight that's most hyped right now in 2018. It seems like everybody's itching for that big heavyweight battle, and these guys are both champions. And Deontay Wilder, we saw what he did to Bermane Stiverne in December in that first round knockout. And we saw Joshua defeat probably one of the best heavyweights of his era in Klitschko. So for Joshua to get that fight to kind of solidify that he's a real deal, I think this makes this fight very special. And Wilder, we haven't really seen it yet. If he's has that opponent, but he has that power that makes him so dangerous.
He does.
And how great would it be you make that fight in Las Vegas, like a throwback from the 1990s where Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe and those guys.
American heavyweight fighting in America.
Exactly. Wow. So who would have thought it? In 2018. So let's make it happen. Let's get a throwback fight for the heavyweights.
Talking to Gilberto Monsanto, the boxing writer for Review Journal, has me hyped. I want to see some boxing now.
Finally, I know. 2018 seems like it's been quiet since September, right?
It really has been. It really has been. Of course, you can read his article at reviewjournal.com. Gilberto Monsanto, always a pleasure, my man.
Thank you, Brian.
All right.